longtime Paradox favorite, the game director for Stellaris, Daniel Moragord.
Thank you for inviting me, Troy.
And thank you so much for being here. I know we're all busy, and I know 2020 was a very trying year for everyone. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened with Stellaris in 2020?
Absolutely. 2020 was a challenging year for everyone. There's no denying that. The team has been working from home for about a year now, and I know it's been really tough for some. But ultimately, I'm very proud of all the things we managed to achieve in 2020. On the console side, we managed to release Apocalypse, Synthetic Dawn, as well as Distant Stars. And on the PC side, we managed to release Federations, Necroids, as well as a free update in May.
Well, it was, all things considered, sounds like a very good year for Stellaris.
Yeah, ultimately it was a record year for Stellaris, and I really want to thank all the players out there for supporting us.
Oh, as part of the community myself, thank you so much for your hard work. And now, for the important news, can you tell us a little bit about the future of the future?
Absolutely, I'd be glad to. Today we have some news for both console edition as well as for the PC edition. So I thought we'd start by talking a little bit about the changes for the console edition.
And I hear we have a trailer for that, correct?
Yes, we do.
So let's go ahead and get that trailer rolling right now.
So together with Tantalus, we're continuing to improve the experience for the console edition players in 2021 by adding a lot of free additions to the game. So by bringing the game to the 2.6 Vern version of the game, we're adding Galactic Community as well as archaeological sites, which will improve the diplomatic and discovery aspects of Stellaris. But we also have some more exciting news to share, actually. So we're very happy to announce that the Lithoid Species Pack, as well as the 2.6 Vern update, will be available to all console players on March 25th. But there's also more news to happen in 2021, so stay tuned.
So it sounds like console players have a lot of good news coming up this year. But I gotta ask, what about the PC players?
Absolutely. I'm very excited to talk about our next expansion, Nemesis. But before we start diving into the details, let's take a look at this trailer to properly set the mood.
Following the destruction of the entire Oblogon system, not even the squabbling diplomats of the galactic community could ignore the encroaching darkness.
We humbly accept the emergency powers the Senate has bestowed upon us. Our union shall be consumed by petty feuds no more. As custodians, we will lead the charge against this terrible crisis that threatens to end us all. Our differences shall become our strengths. Beginning today, we stand as one.
And so, we rally to the custodians as a beacon of hope. They alone seem to stand between us and utter oblivion. And yet, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow.
I'm so excited. That looked amazing. I can't wait for Nemesis. Can you explain just a little bit about what we saw just now in that trailer?
Yeah, so in Nemesis, we're focusing on essentially disruption and chaos. We're focusing on all the things that can go wrong, which is very much in stark contrast with our previous expansion, Federation, which focused on diplomacy and cooperation. So in Nemesis, you will be able to choose if you will become the crisis or if you will be the custodian that aims to stop it. So essentially, we're setting the stage for these two Nemesis to battle over the fate of the galaxy. Yeah, and we're also adding espionage and a new intel system.
I know previously in one of the dev diaries, we talked about how you could explore other alien empires using this espionage and intel system. So that sounds really interesting to me. And I do have to ask, though, you mentioned something about Crisis or Custodian. Could you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Crisis, Become the Crisis feature is a new feature in Nemesis. So you'll be able to do evil deeds, unlock new powerful bonuses, and eventually you'll be able to threaten the existence of the galaxy by consuming its very stars.
Consuming the stars. Does that mean you'll actually be able to blow up or destroy stars?
Yeah, that's correct, Troy. You'll be able to blow up stars.
Man, I'm really excited. I know the community is going to be really excited about it as well. It sounds like an interesting feature. And you also mentioned Crisis and Custodian. Would you like to tell us about the Custodian a little bit?
Yeah. So the Custodian is basically the chief crisis fighter. So we want the players to be able to become the crisis, but we also wanted, the crisis to have its own natural enemy, like its nemesis. Mm-hmm. So the galactic community can band together to elect their chief crisis fighter, which is essentially what the Custodian is. So the Custodian gets access to emergency powers and can also build a galactic defense force fleet to help fight the crisis.
Okay, so I become the Custodian. I get out there, I beat up and defeat the crisis. I come home, saving the galaxy to critical fanfare from everyone. Everyone's joyously celebrating in the streets, and then what? Do I just go back to being a faceless Jeff mopping stalls for the rest of my days?
That depends entirely on you, Troy. Perhaps in order to fight the crisis, you needed to ask for more powers. You need to ask for more permanent powers, powers that you might not be so willing to give up. So perhaps you instead try to sway the galactic community and turn it into the galactic imperium, with you as its rightful ruler. So that sort of embodies what we're trying to do with Nemesis. Even though one crisis may be defeated and the galaxy saved, the next crisis might be just around the corner, and this time it's a diplomatic one.
I really like the premises so far. You have these two arch nemeses fighting each other, going head to head, jeopardizing or trying to save the galaxy. But it doesn't just end there, and that's what really interests me. So I've got to ask the question that I know is going to be the first one asked by the community as soon as they hear this news. When can I become the Emperor?
We're happy to announce that Nemesis will be available on April 15th.
April 15th. You heard him, folks. Get out there, follow the social media channels, wishlist the expansion now, and get ready to light the flame.
Thank you, Daniel and Troy. An underhanded